This was about 14 minutes past midnight when Commander Hoshimoto fired the spread of 6 torpedoes, which hit us with 2. And we surmised that the ship went down. Most everyone says it went down in 12 minutes. And even Commander Hoshimoto knew that the ship went down rather quickly. You know, you look back and say mistakes were made. They could have made ready the Kapok life jackets, and basically some of those some of the life rafts, they are the way that they're stored. If and when the ship sinks, that they would be, you know, kind of float up and come to the surface. And maybe some of those did, but they could have put many of those in the water, or had them ready, you know, to put in the water, but they didn't. Therefore, there's very few life rafts that were you know, made available for anyone. We were probably in I don't know whether it was 10-foot or 12-foot swells, but if you've got 80 people and we're all trying to hold together, and then we go up on a swell and that swell breaks away, then we're scattered. Some's on one side of the swell, so to speak, and so all of a sudden, you know, we're scattered. And so we try to hold ourselves together, and finally someone, I don't know who or what, but anyway, we begin to form a circle. Those of us that were able-bodied, and we take our Kapok jacket and hook onto our buddy, and so we formed a circle. Now we're all in the circle, so to speak, and then when we come up on the swell and the swell breaks away, we pretty much all drift accordingly. And we lost several boys, though, even that first night before daybreak. And then when daybreak came, then in fact, one Marine buddy of mine, he didn't make it through the night. But then the first day, the next morning, we had company. When I say we had company, at any given time, you could look out. Actually, on the surface, you could look out and you see a big fin out there swimming around and around and around, seemingly out of fairness to the sharks. They weren't going to attack us, but you can imagine, you know, the fright that we were experiencing just to think that, look at the sharks. And if you couldn't see a fin out there, you know, if you look down in the water, put your head in the water, you can see them swimming down under you. And then every little bit, even that first day, there were those who maybe had been injured, and maybe they are you know, have a temperature, they begin to hallucinate, and they imagine they see an island out there, and they swim out to that island. Or just like one came up to me and he said, "Hey, Marine, see that island over there? I just came from over there. Lieutenant Parks or Captain Parks, Lieutenant Stauffer, they're over there. They want you to come over there having a picnic." Well, I know better, but it's nearly convincing, you know. And then to see him swim away from me, maybe 25, 30 yards or so, and then there he's splashing in the water, and then you hear a blood-curdling scream, and you see that Kapok jacket go under. And then momentarily, then that Kapok, then it brings the remains of the body back up to the surface, like a fish cork. You know, the cork comes back up, and then if you check that body, then, well, immediately you aren't going to check it, because the sharks see all of that blood, they smell that blood, and they come. And you know, the body is mutilated, maybe. But even so, maybe the bottom torso is gone, or the body is disemboweled, and so that's taken place so many times, even you know, even the first day, but more so even the second day. I would think that we lost a dozen men by the end of the first day. That is, the night before, from 12 o'clock, or, you know, like 14 minutes past 12, until maybe the next night by dark. There was more than a dozen, and then we lost several then the second night. Nighttime, you know, the waves, or could we say you know, the waves are, the wind dies down and it isn't as rough. The swells aren't maybe 10 or 12 feet high. They're, you know, you still got swells. I mean, they just keep rocking and rocking, but maybe they're 6, 8 feet or so. And you feel a little bit at peace, you know, at night. You don't have that 100-degree sun, bareheaded and so on. But, and maybe the sharks are out there, but you don't see them as much. You may hear those blood-curdling screams at night, and my buddy Spooner, my Marine buddy, he and I buddied at night. We needed the warmth from each other at night because the water is 85 degrees, but in 85-degree water, you can just imagine, here you are out here in the rain, and it's 85 degrees, but you get wet. I mean, as we're wet, and then the wind comes up, and here we are up on a swell, and we come up on the swell, and the breeze hits us, and then the first thing you know you're chilly. And after a period of time, your body succumbs to, the elements. And from the 85-degree weather, your body may succumb to 84 degrees, and about 84 degrees, then hypothermia sets in. And there's no, out there's no recovering from that. So we're having mass hallucination. We're having hypothermia. We're having boys, especially at the beginning of the second day, to drink some of the salt water. And as they drink the salt water on a dehydrated body, then they begin to hallucinate, and they can imagine seeing an oasis out there. And again, they leave the group and they swim out, and then you hear that blood-curdling scream. And so that's going to take place many, many times the second day. But on the second day, just visualize that here we are, we're swimming nearly constantly, and our K-Pike jackets are not holding us up like they were when they were new, and we're desperate for water, and then to have a little rain cloud to come over, and you look and you see, and you just thank you, Lord, it's raining, you open your mouth heavenward, and you can, even with a big mouth like mine, you can catch can catch some water. But I took my greasy hands, and kind of funneled some of the water to get and that isn't, just a few minutes and the little shower is gone, but at least we got a little bit of water there the second day. But even by the third day at noon there was only 17 of us left. So, the sharks didn't get everyone, but some of them were injured early on before they left the ship. The sharks hit many, many, many of them, and we heard those blood-curdling screams over and over and over. And then boys hallucinate, hypothermia, and they drop by the wayside, so to speak. We made a mistake in that someone passed away, and someone would say, hey, let's get his dog tags. Okay, who's going to keep the dog tags? Okay, I'll keep the dog tags, someone will say. And so you pass all the dog tags to that individual, but then after a period of time, where is that individual? He's gone, and all the tags went with him. And so there's no way to identify the body then later when the search crew comes along and looks at those bodies. So maybe they will cut off a hand and take that hand and take the skin off and dry that and get the fingerprint to try to identify. And I had a doctor friend that was a part of that burial party, and he says that many, many times that the body is decomposed, no way to, just impossible, to look at that body and try to determine who it might be. And he said he did that many, many times, but he said most every body was disemboweled or the bottom torso was gone. So anyway,